This is from my book, and in a way, my editor toned it down, but it conveys much of what happened. White Rose. Up until this time, I had been very left-brained when it came to playing music. I could only play music by reading sheet music or playing from memory. I felt empathy with each composer and could interpret music with great feeling, but I was frustrated because I lacked the ability just to jam with other players and create my own music. Then, it all happened. While sitting by a stream with my small harp beside me in the redwood forest, I experienced the most amazing event in my life. It is far too personal to put down on paper, for no words will ever describe the magnitude of this spiritually transforming experience, STE. I can only write that I have seen the source, the light, God, the Creator, the other side. I have experienced the awe, the total love, the joy, the bliss, so much so, that I just wanted to continue with it forever and ever. Because of this experience, I have never again been the same. Sitting by a stream in the redwood forest in Philo, California, I was lifted above the place I was sitting so that I was looking down upon the bushes around me. I realized someone was crouched in the bushes. I started to rise higher and could see that there were soldiers in the bushes. As I went further away, I could see that I was in a war zone and eventually looked down upon Central America and saw that I was hovering over Nicaragua. From there I kept going further and further away into the void of darkness, watching the earth become smaller and smaller in front of me. Then, all of a sudden, when I was in the total darkness, a petal of a white rose came down from the upper right and wrapped around me. It was warm, loving, and so very light. Then a petal came down from the left and surrounded me in an even lighter experience. This continued on and on until I thought I was going to explode in the lightness of being enveloped in the light of the petals of a white rose. With each petal surrounding me, until it became brighter and brighter and lighter, to the point of an all-encompassing explosion into the light. The translucent petals held me in their fragrance and carried me to higher heights. There is a void here of words, in other words, there are none for what I then saw. I turned to look up to the left and literally feel that I was looking into the light of the Creator, of God, of whatever you want to call it. All I could feel at the moment was that I wanted to go into that light even more. It was joyous, all-encompassing love. At one point, I realized that I had 2 little boys at home and was immediately pulled back to where I was sitting. I was dumbfounded, as I really was willing to give everything up to go into that light. Is this what it is like when we leave the earth plane? If so, then I am ready to go. All knowing was contained in this suspension of time. This moment of being I am, and then the I falling off to the pure state of being, am. Yes, there is no fear of death. There is a knowing that we live forever and just go to other realms. In my experience, it is indeed so. From the moment this experience happened in 1987, music began to flow through my fingers. It began with that experience when I picked up the harp, sitting by that stream in Philo, and my fingers began playing with no music and my thinking part of my brain got out of the way. That day, my first piece, White Rose, was born. And it has not stopped. All of the compositions on the Illumination CD have been divinely given. All of the improvisations and the compositions for patients in hospitals and hospices come from the same place. For many years, I had heard the phrase, just let go and it will happen, but for me, the question was, how do you let go? Well, by some kind of grace, it did happen. I let go with the music and it flowed. My life has been completely changed from that experience. I work with people in hospice and sometimes I am the last person they have contact with before they leave their earthly bodies. I see and hear them reach out to their loved ones who have gone on before. I have witnessed many profound experiences in the last 20 years being by the bedside and teaching others how to provide music for these sacred situations. About 10 years later, I had surgery where the doctor and nurses were unable to bring me back. They finally went to call upon my friend in the waiting room to bring me up. My only recollection at that time was that there was someone beckoning me to come, neither male nor female nor anyone that I recognized. All I remember is that I wanted to go with that person. I am not unhappy with my life, although I must say there was a period of about 12 years where I got rid of everything in my life and wanted to go to the other side. Then I had a visitation from my 4 grandparents. They were as real as if they were on this earth plane. They simply said, "It took you this long to figure out what you are supposed to do, so now you need to do it for a while." After that, I re-entered into living with more of a purpose. Our school is in its 17th year now, 2011. We train musicians throughout the world in many continents to try to understand the process of dying and delve into NDE studies. To develop their musical skills and to realize that they are really just creating a cradle of sound for a person to float upon when those final tender moments come.